welcome to the 3-day tune-up challenge. I'm Amy, your teacher from A to Z Yoga, and today, day one, is all about the pelvis. We're going to be really working on getting the pelvis mobile, stable and supportive so that it really does support your upper and lower body as you move throughout your day. You're not really going to need anything today apart from possibly a brick or cushions or books if you need it to take yourself slightly up off the floor at certain points. If you're pregnant as well, you might want some blankets or cushions, and I'll let you know when you're going to need these. So for now, get yourselves ready and I'll see you back here. So we're going to begin lying down on our back, with your knees together and your feet wider than your hips. With your feet wide like this, it should give you a little bit more freedom around your sacrum, which is that flat bone just above your tailbone, and a little bit more freedom around the lower back. If it's in any way uncomfortable, feel free to instead have the feet a little bit closer together, maybe a little bit wider, whichever feels more comfortable for you. You can also place a little cushion underneath your pelvis. Then you're going to bring your hands onto your pelvic bones, your hip bones, and just start to take your attention to your hands and to that area. And begin to notice if already you feel the breath moves down into that space. Don't worry if you don't, but see if you can feel anything around there. Tune in a little bit to the way that your pelvis feels at the moment. If there's anything that feels uncomfortable or a bit stuck, so that hopefully when we come back to this position at the end, you might notice a difference. Now start to send your breath down into your hands, into your pelvis. Try and make your breath really deep, moving it into the back of the nose and the back of the throat. The deeper the breath becomes, you might start to notice this kind of hissing sound with your breath. Now see if you can begin to send that breath from the pelvis further up into the ribs, and see if you can feel a bit of movement all throughout the back of the body as you do that. And on every exhale, try to relax your pelvis deeper into the floor. Relax all of the muscles around your hips, all of the muscles around your lower back. And really allow everything to just sink into the ground. This is your opportunity to become really grounded with the body and to become more at one with the space that you're in, so that we can start to focus a little bit more on where we are right now and what the body is doing. And then let that breath move from the pelvis all the way up into the chest. So it's a really full breath now. Two more like that. And now we're just going to start to wake up the pelvis a little bit. So I want you to really gently start to tilt your pelvis forwards and backwards. So your tailbone is going to be going down into the floor and then pointing up towards the floor. Don't lift your pelvis off the floor at all at the moment. This is really just a very small movement that just starts to loosen up some of the muscles, some of the joints and everything around the lower back and the pelvis. And then make that movement a little bigger now. So you're really pushing the tailbone down into the floor, which will give you a little lift of the lower back. And then you're really lifting the tailbone off the floor, still not taking the pelvis off the floor though, but that will give you more length in the lower back. And then again, push it down into the floor and then push it up towards the ceiling. And that movement with the tailbone going up towards the ceiling will give you a little more of an opening in the front of your hips. You should start to feel that kind of almost sense of lengthening the front of your hips. Just do that 2 more times. Perfect. And then walk your feet back to a hip distance position. So they're just the heels are just in line with your sitting bones and the feet are just underneath the knees. You don't want to have them too close to your bum, otherwise you're really over flexing your knees. So keep the feet at a comfortable distance away from your bum. And then you can keep your hands on your hip bones. You're going to use them as a bit of resistance. And start to push your hands down into your hips. And at the same time, start to tilt your tailbone up to the ceiling and lift your pelvis up into your hands. So you're starting to now again get this length in the front of your hips and work in your glutes. So you should start to feel those glutes have really woken up already. Hold it there. And just really tune in to everything that's happening around your pelvis right now. Are you feeling any discomfort in your lower back? If so, lower it a tiny little bit more and see if you can use your hands a little more to wake up the glutes even more. And that will help take any pressure off of your lower back. Hold it there for a little tiny bit longer. Press down into your feet. What are your feet doing? Are your big toe mounds pressing down into the floor enough? And now slowly lower back down. Lovely. So we're just waking up everything around the pelvis. We're going to do that again and hold it there. So again, lift. See how far you can take it with this opening in the front of your hips without lifting your ribs up off the floor. So I don't want you all to start lifting your ribs and coming onto just your shoulders, because that's going to take it too much into your lower back, which I don't want at all. I want you to really feel your glutes are on. The length is in the front of your hips, your ribs are down, and it's just really firing up the glutes and even the back of the legs. Now you're going to hold it in this position, press down into your feet, and just really gently lift your right knee, your right leg up off the floor. Hold it, and then turn that right knee out. So you feel like you're almost trying to bring your right foot towards the front of the left thigh. Take it back to center. Bring that leg back down and then bring the pelvis down. Woo! That should really fire up that left glute quite a lot. And we're going to do the same thing but on the other side. So press down into the feet. Start to lead with your tailbone. Lift your pelvis. Remember, your ribs stay down. Your glutes are fired up. Push down into your right foot and then gently lift the left leg. So you're stacking that knee over the top of the hip. Then gently turn that left knee out to the side as if you want to bring your right foot to the front of the right thigh, and then bring it back to center. Bring the foot down, lower the pelvis, and that right glute should be nicely on fire. We're going to do it again. Push down into your feet, lift through your pubic bone, through your tailbone, lift the pelvis as far as you can without feeling it go into the lower back. And then again, press the hands into the hips, press down into the left foot, lift your right leg, stacking the knee over the hip. Turn the knee out to the side. This time, bring that foot onto the front of the thigh and push the foot into the thigh. That should help you lift the pelvis a little bit more. Watch what's happening in your pelvis here. Is your right hip starting to dip down towards the floor because the left glute isn't really on and working? If that's happening, can you work that left glute more by pushing the left foot down into the floor, lift the right hip up so it's level with the left one. And then lower the pelvis, lower the foot. We'll do the same on the other side. So I'm really just trying to make you tune into everything that's happening around here and to become really aware of the stability and the movement around your pelvis. So you've lifted your pelvis, your glutes are on, your pelvis is nice and level, your hands are helping you feel that connection there. Push down into the right foot, lift the left leg, stacking the left knee over the hip, then turn the knee out, and this time again, bring that left foot onto the front of the right thigh, and push the foot into the thigh. Now again, what's happening here? Has this left hip dropped because the right glute has switched off? Or is the left hip level with the right one because the right glute is working? Use your hands to help you work the right glute more. Press that right foot deeper into the ground to work the right glute more. And then lower the pelvis and lower the leg. Well done. Now we're going to do a little bit more movement with that and try and keep that same stability as you're doing it. Push down into the feet, lift the pelvis. Press into the left foot, lift the right leg. Turn that right knee out, bring the right foot onto the front of the left thigh and push the foot into the thigh. Now keep the pelvis level, but just gently pulse the pelvis up and down. So I don't want you to be pulsing and letting that right hip dip down further than the left one. Keep the two level and just pulse up and down. So you're going to feel that left glute and left hamstring work even harder. And then lower the pelvis and lower the foot. Ooh, your glutes should really, really be working now. Now again, lift the pelvis, press down into the right foot, lift the left leg, stack it over the hip. Turn that knee out to the side. You're not moving your pelvis, you're just moving your leg. Press the foot into the thigh and then pulse up and down, really working the glutes. Keeping the pelvis nice and level, don't let that left hip dip down. And then lower the pelvis and lower the leg. Wow, okay. Now you should have more of a connection and more of an understanding of the stability that you need around the pelvis, so that now as we go into other work, you can keep that stability. So I want you to again bring your feet wider than hip distance, knees together, and then take your hands to the back of your head, link your fingers, let your elbows go wide as they can. If they can touch the floor, great, go for it. If they can't, if that feels uncomfortable, keep them slightly off the floor, that's totally fine. Now squeeze the knees together. See if you can get that to engage your inner thighs a little bit and maybe even feel a little awakening in your pelvic floor. Then as you keep that awakening, I want you to lift your legs up off the floor without moving your pelvis and push the feet away from each other. So you're keeping the legs in exactly the same position as they were just in on the floor, you just lifted them. Now that should be already waking up your belly, your lower belly, and even your outer glutes, because you're having to hold your legs in that position. Hold it here, and then slowly lower the legs, but don't let the lower back pop up off the floor. So that really means you have to work the belly a little bit more to lower. Do that again. Squeeze the knees together, wake up your inner thighs, lift the legs, but don't move the pelvis. Just stack the knees up over your hips. You don't want to bring them in too close. See if you can really draw the lower belly in and keep pushing the feet away from each other. Now hold the legs in this position. Take a breath in. And as you exhale, draw the ribs in, draw the belly in, lift your shoulder blades off the floor. Now, bear in mind, I have just had a baby, so this is not the easiest thing to do right now. It's a lot of core work, so I'm doing this and working just as hard as you are right now. I promise you, it is hard work. So again, lift the legs, keep pushing the feet away from each other. Feel that really engage in your pelvis. Breathe in. As you breathe out, pull the belly in, lift the shoulders, breathe in, lower down. And again, you can lower the legs. You do that again. Breathe in as you exhale, lift the legs, keep the feet pushing away and curl up. Inhale, lower back down. Again, exhale, draw the belly in as you lift the legs and you curl up. Inhale, lower. Be careful as you curl up that you're not curling up from your head. You want to curl up from your ribs, from your belly. Again, breathe in, exhale, lift the legs, keep the feet pushing, curl up, this time hold it. Hold it there. Try and get the shoulder blades as far up off the floor as you can. Really work into your belly. Keep your gaze up at the ceiling. Inhale, lower. Whoa, that's waking up the belly for sure. I'm going to feel it tomorrow. Okay, again, we take a breath in, lift the legs, exhale, curl, hold it. This time, as you hold, can you reach your hands towards your feet? Draw the belly and the ribs in even deeper. Keep pushing your feet away from each other. Take your hands back to your head. Inhale and lower. Oh, and again. Exhale, lift, keep the feet pushing away, draw the belly and the ribs in, curl up. Now reach for the feet. Keep reaching, holding, inhale and lower. One more like that. Exhale, lift the legs, keep the feet pushing away, inhale, up, exhale, sorry, lift, and then reach for the feet. Hold it. Inhale and lower. Whee! Okay, we're going to do a similar kind of movement, but we're going to add on to it, okay? So this time, I want you to bring the feet and the knees back to neutral. We're going to move the legs into that same position that they were in, but we're going to do it from an upwards position. Take the hands again to the back of your head. Exhale. Lift the legs up, stack them just over the hips. Breathe in as you exhale, curl up, and then turn just the right knee in, and then back to center. Then the left knee in, and then back to center. Inhale, lower just your upper body. Exhale, curl up. Turn the right knee in, back to center. Left knee in, back to center. Inhale, lower just the upper body. Again, exhale, curl up. Turn the right knee in, back to center. Left knee in, back to center. Inhale, lower. One more time like this. Exhale, curl up. Turn the right knee in, back to center. Left knee in, back to center. And lower. We're going to add on to this. Breathe in. Exhale, curl up. Right knee in. Left rib to right knee. Inhale, center, and down. Again, exhale, up. Left knee turns in. Right rib comes towards the left knee. Inhale, center, and lower. One more time like that. Exhale, curl up. Right knee in. Left rib to right knee. Inhale, center, down. Exhale, up. Left knee in. Right rib to left knee. Inhale, and center, and lower. Wow. Very good. Now we're going to do exactly what you just did, but we're not going to lower. We're going to try and just keep moving side to side a few times, okay? You can do this. It's a lot of core work, a lot of pelvis work, but you can do this. Breathe in as you exhale, lift the legs. Exhale, curl the upper body. Right knee turns in, left rib to right knee. Center, not down. Left knee in, right rib to left knee. Center. Right knee in, left rib to left knee, right knee, sorry, and then center. Left knee in, right rib to left knee, center. Right knee in, left rib to right knee, back to center. Oh, one more time. This is hard work. This is really hard after you've had a baby. Last time. And then down. Ah, well done. Very good. See, it's always good when I can do these things and be working as hard as you are. Now bring your legs up. Take your hands to the outside of your knees and push the hands into the legs and the legs into the hands. So you start to feel like everything is really engaged and working around the outer hips. Draw the knees in a little closer to you. That's going to open up the lower back a bit more. Keep pushing the two towards each other, hands to the legs, legs to the hands, and then start rocking very gently up and down. Eventually, it's going to rock you all the way up. And I want you to keep a really nice big curl in your back so that you don't get this plonk in your lower back as you come up. It should all be really curly. So it's really quite smooth. And then actually the rocking becomes almost like you don't have to do anything. And then you sit. Turn yourself around and come onto all fours. Onto your hands and knees. Your wrists are underneath your shoulders, your knees are underneath your hips. Just move my glasses out of the way. So, from here, press down into your knuckles, down into your feet, and just really gently drop the space between your shoulder blades. We're just going to wake up the shoulders a little bit so that they can support you in this position. And then push the shoulder blades away from each other, open up the upper back a little bit more. Squeeze the shoulder blades together, lower that space between them. And then push the shoulder blades away from each other, expand the upper back a little. Again, shoulder blades together, and then apart. Together, and apart. Together, and apart. One more time. Together, and then apart. And then find a space in middle, somewhere between those two movements, that feels like the shoulder blades are sitting on the back of the ribs really comfortably. Then press down into your feet and draw the belly in, draw the ribs in. You don't want to be collapsing in the belly and the back. Keep everything really in control. And then bring the feet wide and knees together, just like you had it when you were lying on your back and doing all that core work. It's exactly the same position. And then from here, gently tilt the pelvis up and down. Again, much like what you did lying on the floor, but now we don't have the feedback from the floor. Just gently tilting the pelvis up and down and seeing if you can gain a little bit more movement in your lower back. A little bit more movement in your pelvis. Just keep a little close eye on what's happening in your head. You don't want your head to drop. Your head the whole time should be staying in line with your spine. Chin slightly tucked in so the neck is long. Now keep the pelvis in neutral, the belly is engaged, and then bring the knees and the feet back to parallel. Press down into your left foot. Without moving your pelvis, slowly raise your right leg. Only as far as you can without this happening in your lower back. You want to keep the back long, pelvis is engaged, so your right glute is doing the work here. Then externally rotate your right knee. Think about, again, the same movement that we did on the floor to then bring that foot to the front of the thigh. It's not going to the front of the thigh now, we're just keeping that external rotation. With that external rotation, can you gently start to pulse the leg up and down? You're not doing this with movement from the back. You're keeping the pelvis really stable and just using your right glute to pulse the pelvis, to pulse the leg, up and down. It should really help you feel that you're working into the outer glute of that right hip. Should be warming up very nicely now. And then bring the leg back to center. Turn the knee in, internally rotate the leg. Slide that knee so it comes and touches that left inner knee, like it's just kissing it. And then bring that right knee to tap, if you can, your left forearm, and then bring it back up, back to neutral. Okay, again, we're going to externally rotate that right leg, pulse it just twice, then internally rotate it. Bring the knee in, kiss that left inner knee, and if you can, tap that left forearm, rounding your back. Bring it back to neutral. Do that one more time. Externally rotate the right leg 2 pulses. Turn the knee in now. Slowly bring it in. Kiss the inside of that left knee, and if you can, tap the left inner arm. And then bring the leg down. Beautiful. Then we do the other side. So we start off by slowly lifting that left leg without moving the pelvis. Don't dip into your lower back. Just feel that left glute switch on. Then externally rotate the leg without moving the pelvis and pulse that leg up and down from the glute. Feel it's really working into that outer hip. Keep the belly engaged, shoulders engaged, and remember to keep that little eye on your head. You don't want it to start doing funny things and collapsing. Then take the leg back to neutral, internally rotate it, bring it in, let it kiss the inside of that right knee, and then see if it can touch the right forearm. And then bring it back to neutral. Externally rotate it, pulse 2 times, internally rotate it, kiss the inside of that right knee, tap the forearm, bring it back to neutral. Again, externally rotate it, pulse 2 times, internally rotate it, touch that inner right knee and tap that right forearm. Back to neutral, one more time. Turn the leg out, pulse 2 times. Internally rotate it, kiss the right knee and kiss the right forearm and take it to center. Beautiful. Now we've opened and created a bit more space in the hips. You may already feel that you've got a bit more space in your hips. That should help you move into the next phase. So pressing down into your left foot, can you bring your right foot to touch the back of your right wrist without lifting the hand? So you want to try and bring that foot down without lifting that right hand up. Not the easiest thing in the world, so just do what you can. If it doesn't get there at all, then you lift the hand and you take the foot there. Then you're going to lift the upper body and place your right hand on the front of your right knee. Start to push that hand into the knee and the knee into the hand a bit. It's almost like you've got the knee on a wall. And that's going to help you to even out the pelvis and even get a little bit of a stretch or an opening in the front of your left hip. Now take your left arm out in front of you. From your left shoulder blade, lift the left arm up and place the left hand between your shoulder blades. Take a big breath in. Squeeze the legs towards each other so you keep this left hip open. Lift the ribs up away from your pelvis and go up and over to the right. And this should give you a nice little opening in the left side body and in the left front hip. I feel it a lot. It's beautiful. It's such a nice opening in that left hip. And then come back to center. Keep the hand on the upper back and turn the left foot to the right. So it's like you're just turning that leg out, really. And then walk this right foot to come in line with the left knee. Breathe in and then reach over to the left. Now this is where you can grab a brick and place a brick underneath that hand, or if you feel comfortable in the hip, comfortable in the back and the pelvis, and you can keep this hip lifting forwards, then you can place that palm as flat as you can go. You need this hip to keep pulsing forwards. Don't let it go like this into this flexed position. Keep this left hip forwards. Inhale and reach that right arm up and over. So that again, you're now feeling a lovely stretch, but on the right side of the body. That's so nice. It really opens everything up. Take a big breath here. And then bring it up, back to center. Place your hands either side of the front foot. Bring that left foot back and right foot back to that tabletop position. And we're going to do the same on the other side. So pressing into the right foot, gently bring that left foot behind the left wrist without lifting the left wrist. Lift the upper body and then bring the left hand to the front of the left knee. Push the two together. Let that already start to open up the front of your right hip. Squeeze the legs towards each other. Let that open up the right hip even more. Then take your right arm out in front of you. From here, lift the right arm from the shoulder blade and take the right hand between the shoulders. Keep a nice long length through the sides of the body. Breathe in and then reach up and over to the left, like you're taking your ribs up away from your pelvis to go up and over. That will give you that extra opening in the right side body and the right front hip. Breathe here. Beautiful. Come back to center. Keep the hand on the back and then turn that right foot to the left. So you're rotating that right leg out. Walk the left heel to come in line with the right knee and then reach up and over. Again, you can have a brick underneath your right hand, or if you can, comfortably place the right hand down. The right hip now is pushing forwards. Don't go into a flexed position in the hip. If it's bringing you into flexion, you need a brick under this hand so you can keep the right hip open. And then lift the left arm up and over and lengthen out through that left side body. Feel that length and that space come all the way from the hips, all the way from the pelvis. Take a nice big breath here. Ah, oh, so good. I love it. And then come all the way back up to center. Take the hands either side of the front foot, work that right foot back round, and left leg comes back to table. Now again, bring your knees towards each other, feet wide. So they're going to go as wide as the mat, basically. Tuck your toes under, get a little bit of a stretch in the feet, and then make the knees as wide as your feet. So the legs are going to feel very wide. Now press down into your hands, your fingers, your knuckles, and turn the arms out. So it's like you want to turn the hands out, but they're not moving. That's going to widen the space in your chest and bring the shoulder blades onto the back a bit more. Then sit back into your hips, push down into your hands, lift your knees up towards your belly and come into a modified downward facing dog. So because your legs are wide, your feet are wide, it should give you a lot more space in your lower back and your pelvis to lift the hips up nice and high. You can keep the legs and the feet as close together as they are. And now see if you can start to straighten your legs without bringing the heels down to the floor. So instead what you're doing is pushing the legs up into the pelvis. Only go as straight as you can comfortably. Keep pushing down into your hands and you want to keep this flexion in your pelvis. It's so good in this position. Now bend the knees and then twist your feet, your heels to the right. Let that open the left side body. Hold it there. Come back to center, twist the heels to the left. Let that open the right side body. So good, it's so yummy. Come back to center and then walk the feet to hip distance apart. Press into the left foot and with the right bent knee, lift the right leg. Now externally rotate the right leg just like you did on all fours before, and then pulse it a few times, up and down, so you get that work into the outer glute. Then internally rotate the leg. Kiss that left knee, again, just like we did on all fours, and see if you can bring that knee across to the left elbow and back up. Then again, externally rotate, pulse it a couple times. Then internally rotate it, kiss that left knee, and kiss the left elbow. And back up. One last time. Externally rotate, pulse. Internally rotate, kiss the knee, kiss the elbow, take it back. Straighten that leg out if you can. And then bend it and step the right foot behind the right wrist. Lift up into a high lunge position. Bend the left knee. Place your hands on your left hip. And then inhale and reach all the way up through the sides of the waist and the shoulder blades. Place the left hand on the upper back between the shoulder blades, right hand on your sacrum. Inhale, reach up and over to the right, and then back to center. Turn the left leg out, left foot out. Walk the right foot in line with the right heel, and then reach up with both arms. Go up and over to the left, and take that left hand down to the left leg. Keep lifting up and over. Bend the right knee and find that opening in the front hips. Then inhale back to center. Turn that left knee back to the front, left foot back to the front. Squeeze the legs towards each other. Hinge at your hips and either have your hands on your hips or your lower back. Lower back is a little bit harder than hips, so whichever you prefer. And then shift your weight into the right leg. Careful not to lift your chin or you're going to pull yourself off balance. Now try and spiral your right foot out without moving it so it wakes up the outer right glute, and then open the left hip to the ceiling and bring it back to center. Again, spiral the right leg out and then open both hips to the ceiling. You're thinking about trying to open and move the whole pelvis above the right hip to open it up. Don't worry if you lose your balance, it's absolutely fine and totally normal. I very often lose mine. One more time. And then step it back to lunge. Place each hand either side of the front foot, step it back to down dog. Get that nice open position in down dog. Press into the right foot, bend the left knee and lift the left leg. Keep it bent and keep the pelvis stable. Then externally rotate the left leg without moving the pelvis and just pulse that leg a few times. Wake up that glute. Then internally rotate the leg, kiss the right knee, kiss your right elbow. Take it up. Externally rotate, pulse a few times. Internally rotate, kiss the right knee, kiss the right elbow, take it back up. Last time. Externally rotate, pulse. Internally rotate, then kiss the knee, kiss the elbow, take it up, and if you can, straighten that left leg. And then from there, step the left foot to the left hand. Lift yourself up into that high lunge position again. Bend both knees, squeeze the legs towards each other. Inhale and reach both arms up, and then take the right hand to the upper back, left hand to the sacrum. Keep squeezing the legs towards each other, and then inhale and reach up and over. Get that opening in the right hip, right side waist. Then inhale back to center, reach both arms up, turn the right foot out. We'll line up your left heel with your right heel, and then reach up as you go over to the right. Take the right hand to the outside of your right leg. Keep reaching up and over and get that opening in the hips. Then turn back to center, turn that right foot back to the front, and again have your hands either on your hips or your lower back, your sacrum. From there, hinge at your hips, keep your chin and your neck in line with your spine, don't lift the chin up, and then shift the weight forwards to the left foot. Spiral that left foot out without opening it, and then open the right hip and close. Again, open and close. Ooh, careful not to lose your balance. Open and close. One more time, open, then close and step back to lunge. Place your hands again either side of the front foot, step it back to down dog. And then from your down dog, can you come into plank? You might need to walk your feet back a little bit, that's fine. Your shoulders are over your wrists, your feet are straight away. If you're pregnant, lower to your knees so you're in baby plank. Or even if it's just way too hard in a full plank, lower to a baby plank. You should still feel all those muscles working in your baby plank position. Then from either full plank or baby plank, bend the elbows, hugging them into the sides of the waist. Keep your shoulders open and lower all the way to the ground. Straighten out your feet, pull back with your hands. Inhale and lift with your chest. As you pull back with your hands, there should be freedom in your lower back. Then release, tuck your toes under, push through your hands and your feet, push back to down dog. Now keep the hips high and think about moving through your pelvis and through your legs as you step your right foot to your right hand and then your left foot to your left hand. It's fine if you only get as far as here. Just walk as far as you can. And then again, step the foot back and the left foot back. Right foot forward, left foot forward, right foot back, left foot back. Right foot forward, left foot forward, right foot back, left foot back to down dog. Each time, maybe you get a little bit more space and maybe even just a little bit more confidence to step the feet a little bit further forwards. One more time. Now keep your feet forwards. Keep that bend in your hips, place your hands on your hip bones and just pulse up and down through the hips. Woo, you're going to feel those glutes really set on light on fire. And then from there push down, stand up. Oh, wow, okay. Now from this position we're going to try and shift our balance. So bend at the hips, sit back at the hips, bring your weight to your left foot, lift the right foot up. Take the right foot down, keep that bend low. Take the weight to the right foot, lift the left foot up. Take it down, then again, right foot up, right foot down. Left foot up, left foot down. Right foot up, right foot down. Left foot up, left foot down. Now we go arms up as the leg comes up and down. Arms up as the leg comes up, down. Again. Keep yourself low. So you should really be working your pelvis, your hips, your spine is long, your chin is long, and your neck is long. One more, to the left, back to squat, lower down, and if you can, jump it back to plank. Whew. Lower to baby plank if you want to. Pull back and down with your hands and lower. Straighten out with your feet. This time, slide your hands back beside your hips. Palms are facing the ceiling. Lift your chest forwards and up, your feet back and away into this lovely full Salabhasana locust pose. And then release. Hands down. Tuck the toes. Push yourself up. Bring the toes together, knees wide, and then sit back into a child's pose. Oh yeah, that's good. Take a nice deep breath here. Into the back body, into the pelvis. Oh, you have worked so hard. It's hard work working the pelvis, it really is. They're the biggest muscles in the body, the pelvic girdle and supporting hip muscles. Okay, move the feet in line with the knees. Walk your hands back, so you're sitting on your knees. If this is in any way uncomfortable on the knees, you can place bricks, cushions, whatever you want underneath your bum. And we're just going to sit here for a moment and take a nice big deep breath. Lovely. Now move your hands forwards, tuck your toes under. If you can do this, go for it. If you find it's impossible, do not worry. You're going to move your weight onto your heels and try and sit back into the feet here, into a deep squat. If this is impossible and you're looking at me thinking, how on earth do I get my heels down onto the ground? What you do is place a cushion or a rolled up mat or blanket underneath your heels so it lifts you slightly, and you counterbalance your weight by bringing your hands out in front of you, and you just hold yourself here. Again, take a nice big breath. Let the back relax, pelvis relax, like there's a heavy weight on it. And then hands behind you, and you slowly come down onto your bum. And down onto the mat with your back. Oh, yes. Well deserved, seriously well deserved. Now we're going to go back into the same position we had at the very beginning to test it really, just to see if you feel any different. So bring the knees together, feet wide, and just relax here. Let your arms roll out, down by your sides, and take a nice deep breath in. And out with a big sigh. Again. One more time. Let your body really relax into the ground. And do you feel any different? Do you feel more open in the pelvis? Perhaps a bit more free in the back? Maybe you feel that you're actually more connected to the floor with the pelvis in this position. And then if you want to, you can keep your legs in this position if it's really comfy, or you can stretch your legs out to a full Shavasana and just relax here. Take a few deep breaths. Right down into the pelvis. And then bend your knees, roll to your side, and bring yourself up. Oh, well done. Congratulations, you have finished day 1 of the tune-up challenge. I hope that you feel that you've really tuned up the pelvis and that everything is kind of moved back into place, that you've freed up your lower back or any little aches and pains in your hips. You can come back to this video as many times as you want. It's now yours forever. So feel free to do it whenever you want, whenever you need to retune the pelvis or the lower back, lower hips, whichever you need a little bit of freedom in. And have a wonderful day, and I will see you for day 2 of the challenge tomorrow. Namaste.